welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me. In today's video, I'm going to be testing out, playing with, trying on the, well, not exactly new collection, still all over Instagram, so quite relevant collection, but I have the Becca and Khloé Malika BFF collab. If you don't know, for this collaboration, Khloé Kardashian and her best friend Malika actually got together and were able to create a whole collection of face and lip products. So in this collection, we have a number of bronzers, highlighters, blushes that Becca is known for, as well as a new product that Becca is just now releasing. These are actual lipsticks. So these are the Ultimate Kiss lipsticks. So Khloé and Malika each created 2 shades of this lipstick, and as well as a palette for each of them. So I'm actually really excited. As I've said on this channel before, I am kind of a big fan of the Kardashians. I think they're incredibly smart businesswomen, and just for entertainment purposes, I like them. I don't know if I necessarily say I support every single thing that they do, but you have to respect them so much and how they have just built this giant empire from not from nothing. Let's be real. They didn't start from nothing. Like they were already kind of wealthy, but they are nowhere near as famous or as wealthy as they are now. I mean, you have to just accept the media empire that has become the Kardashians. So I do enjoy them for that, and I really like Becca products. So this was kind of like 2 of my favorite things combined. So I'm really, really excited. So if you want to see me try out everything in this collection, hear my thoughts about all that, then keep watching because we're getting into it right now. Collection, both Khloé and Malika each collaborated and came out with their own face palette. So in the more gold toned one, I do like how they are similar and like complementary, but they're not exactly the same. So the more gold tone palette is called Made with Love by Khloé, and it has a highlighter, 2 glowing blushes, as well as a bronzer. So we have the shades Glow Up, which is a soft focus highlighter, Fierce, a radiant blush, Fabulosity, a radiant blush, as well as Koko Bronze, a satin matte bronzer. And then in the Made with Love by Malika palette, we also have the same setup, being 1 highlighter, 2 blushes, and a bronzer. So we have Dusted, the soft focus highlighter, Yes Girl, a radiant blush, Make Me Blush, also a radiant blush, and Bestie Bronze, which is a satin matte bronzer. So each one of these palettes retails for $44, and you get 0.42 ounces of product in each one of these. So one of the things I really like is that they came out with both of these palettes. So as you can see, both of these palettes, the Made by Love with Khloé is a lot lighter tones as opposed to the Malika palette. So I do like that they have both, you know, more the lighter and as well as the darker, so that each one of these palettes works best for the person who made it, as well as, you know, people of similar complexions. So do you need to buy both of these palettes like I did? Definitely not. I think try to find the one that maybe speaks to you personally and like you feel like would work best on your skin tone, and then kind of go from there. Since I bought both palettes, I'm gonna go ahead and use both. I'm going to just start with my go-to bronzer brush, and I'm going to go into the Made by Love with Khloé and start by bronzing up the face first, and then if needed, I will go into the Malika palette and kind of deepen up things and try to contour with it. So let's see. I didn't notice a ton of pigment as I was swatching this bronzer, but sometimes you can't always tell from a swatch. I'm not noticing a ton of color, to be completely honest. It is still fairly light for me and from my skin tone, but it's not terrible. So I am now going to switch over to a smaller bronzer brush. I'm going to use my contouring brush, this guy. So this is the R10 brush, which I use for contouring. I'm going to hop over and use this one. This is the Bestie Bronze in the Malika palette, and try to use this to just contour a little bit. Oh yeah, a lot more picks up on the brush. Tap that off. Make sure I'm not going too crazy. Oh yeah, that works pretty well. I need to make sure I blend this in because this is quite a bit darker. Fix the lighting. So I think we can see how this has worked to bronze up my face pretty well. I also like the contour. The contouring is not bad with this. So overall, I'm pleased. If I had to pick one that I liked best, I would probably say the Malika bronzer. Just because on my particular skin tone, which is still fairly light, the Koko bronzer just was not, the color payoff was not there with the Koko bronzer, if that makes sense. So I'm looking quite pale and kind of one-dimensional, so I think it's time for some blush. I'm going to use a combination of two blushes. I think I'm going to start again with the Koko palette. I'm going to go into the Fabulosity blush, which I think is a really pretty kind of slightly pinky coral shade of the blush with maybe a little bit of a rose undertone, which I think I will like. This is a radiant blush, which I'm not a huge fan of like shimmer blushes, but we're gonna go very lightly. It's quite dusty. As I try to pick it up, it's a lot of dust up in the pan, but I'm not noticing like a ton of color payoff right off the bat, which I don't know. Oh, there's a little bit. I think you can see there's a little bit of color coming through. Okay, that's not bad. The color payoff is there, but it's not super, super bright. I think this blush would definitely be too light for me. That reminds me of like a rose gold highlight to me. Like that's a really pretty, I would use that as a rose gold highlight. I like that, but as a blush, that's not gonna do anything for me. It's just gonna wash me out. So now I'm gonna go in with a different blush brush. And I'm going to take this shade, the more kind of purpley shade from the Malika palette. This is Make Me Blush, and I'm gonna use this on the other side. Mostly just because I think these two colors will look nice mixed together in like the final, oh wow. See, this has a lot more color payoff right off the bat. So I'm gonna go in very lightly to begin with. Even this that looks like it has a lot of color payoff on the brush is not coming off too strongly on the cheeks. Also, this one doesn't look quite as radiant for some reason. I don't know why that is. But in general, I like it. This one just looks like a very light kind of highlighter. I'm not getting a ton of like color pigment except for the glowiness right on the apples of my cheeks, which is not necessarily the look I love. This one I'm getting a lot more pigmentation and color payoff, which I like. So now that I have both blushes down, I'm actually gonna mix them together. So I'm gonna keep going in with Make Me Blush on this other side to just even everything out. And last but certainly not least for the palette, we have one highlight shade in each of the palettes. So I'm going to again use Malika on my left side and Khloé on the right side. So the highlighter in the Malika palette is, yes girl, no, Dusted. It's called Dusted. And this is a really pretty, I think this looks kind of like a champagne, slightly rose gold highlighter, and like everyone knows, Becca highlighters are to die for. Like they're just the best. Is it just, oh, it is showing up. It's just not as reflective as I would like or expect from a Becca highlight. I mean, yes, you can see it, and this is from this is the Malika palette, which I expected a really blinding highlight. I mean, I almost feel like the blush in the Khloé palette was more shimmery and reflective than this highlighter. Like I'm not getting a lot. I'm really not getting a lot out of that. So, let's hop over and try the highlighter from the Khloé palette. This one's called Glow Up. That's a cute name. That's a cute name for a highlighter. But like, look at do you see the amount of like shine on my cheek when I smile? But like, on the actual highlight point, I'm not seeing it. Maybe it's picking up more on camera and I'll see it when I edit and be like, oh yeah, it was there all along. But in person, I'm not really seeing it. And in the monitor, I'm not really seeing a ton. I mean, I see a little bit of highlight right here, but not a ton. But let's try Glow Up. Now this is a very light champagne highlighter, which I like. I like a good champagne, I'm not gonna lie. I brought you a present. Went down, down to, ooh, that's pretty. Look at that. Ooh, that's really pretty. I owe you a bottle of cold champagne, yeah, cold champagne. Ooh, that's pretty. That's really pretty. Okay, I like that. I like that. That's a pretty highlighter. This one is just not maybe it's just not meant for my skin tone. Maybe I am too dark for this light bronzer and these blushes in the Khloé palette, but I am not dark enough for the highlighter in the Malika palette. Maybe I am that weird middle ground where one complete palette is not actually going to work for me, because this highlighter is showing up and is really pretty, but this is just like so subtle that I'm not seeing it. I don't love that. That makes me a little bit sad. Okay. All right, so that's everything in these two palettes. According to the Becca website, they say this is an easy to use all-in-one face palette, just like a photo filter in real life. It features Becca's brand new soft focus highlighter, brand new satin matte bronzer, and 2 new shades of fan favorite radiant blush. Inspired by the skin smoothing effect of photo filters, the innovative formula's sheer buildable shades are infused with soft focus pearl and blurring pigments to softly scatter and reflect light. Oh, that makes sense. So this is a different formula of highlighter. Okay, I'm sorry I was hating on this. I assumed it was the traditional Becca highlighting formula, but this is different. This is a soft, what do they call it? This is the soft focus highlighter, so I guess it's supposed to be more diffused. Although this one I would say is still quite blinding. This glow up shade from the Khloé palette, I would say is still quite blinding. It's just the Malika shade that's a little more subtle. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense that I'm not getting quite the same pigment or, you know, shine to powder ratio. Is that a thing? Let's make it a thing. Shine to powder ratio in this highlighter than I do in a traditional Becca highlighter, which that kind of makes me a little bit disappointed. I don't understand. Becca is known for their highlighters, so I don't understand why they would put a new or different highlighting formula in these palettes when people are buying these, one, for the Khloé and Malika name. Yes, you know, it's the celebrity endorsement of Khloé and Malika that you want to get this palette. But wait, here's another thing. Sorry, tangent. What about Khadijah? What? If I was Khadijah, I'd feel really bad. I'd be like, well, I know that Malika and Khloé are like really good friends, but Khadijah's around. I thought she was really good friends with Khloé. Why does, I don't know. If you don't know, Khadijah is Malika's twin sister. Like, they're identical twins. I don't know why. It just, I feel bad for Khadijah. Like, she doesn't get her palette. I want a Khadijah palette. I want 3 with like all of the real, with all of the classic Becca highlighting formula. Can the Khadijah palette just be the classic Becca highlighters? Now that would be awesome. That would be really awesome if we had a Khadijah palette with all the classic Becca highlighters. So that's kind of a letdown for me. And the blushes are pretty, they're buildable, they're a little bit too radiant for my taste. So in general, do I think that these palettes are worth it? Probably not. For the $44 price tag on this palette, yeah, I don't love it. I don't think it's necessarily worth it. You don't get a ton of product, especially because there's not one palette that works for me. Like, I have to have both palettes. And also, if this is going to be like something, oh, I can just throw this in and travel and I have highlighter, bronzer, blush, it's not going to work. One palette is not going to work for me, and I'm not going to travel with both palettes. And also, even if I was going to travel with just a one compact palette, I want a really intense highlighter that's going to be great, and that's the only highlighter I need. Like, if I'm going to take this kind of subtle highlighter, I'm going to need to throw another like more blinding highlighter in my bag, and I don't want to have to do that. So for me, overall, I would probably say that both of these palettes is a pass. In general, I liked the Malika palette a little bit better, just because I got more use out of the 2 blushes and the bronzer, and the highlighter, I could probably build this up or, you know, pair it with a different highlighter. So if I was going to pick one, I would pick the Malika palette. But really, both of these, I don't necessarily think it's worth the $44 price tag. You can go and buy minis of a lot of the Becca products, and, you know, maybe mix and match and kind of just pick the shades or the pieces that speak to you a little bit more, unless, you know, really I think you're paying for this set is for the names of Khloé and Malika, which I love. I love Khloé and I love Malika, but I think these palettes are both a pass for me. unfortunately. I really feel bad saying that. Okay, so let's move on to the next product that is also new to this collection. So this is the Becca Sweetheart Glow Letters. This is a set of X's, O's, and heart-shaped highlighters that create soft focused glow for the face and eyes. The irresistible bundle of mini baked highlighters creates a warm glow on the face and eyes, baked with love. The shimmering bronze and glistening champagne highlighters, lightweight texture floats over the skin to impart a soft focused luminosity. Each letter is hand pressed and unique, so shade and finish varies in each jar. Becca, I would say, is a higher end brand, and this just looks so cheap. It looks so cheaply made. Like, it's just so cheap that like the paper that's covering the cardboard is like dimpled. Can you see how it's like dimpled? Right there, you can kind of see how it's dimpled because it's just paper covering cardboard. Like, no. You can give me a plastic container, and these also retail for $18. And you get, inside it has like a little protector, you know, a little foamy protector, sponge, and then inside here are the actual glow letters. So there's X's, O's, and hearts. Oops, I dropped an O. I dropped an O. O down. I don't know. I don't get it. So I do already have highlighter on. I swatched these and I didn't really get a ton of color payoff from them. And they do look a little bit dark for my particular, even my skin tone. I thought this highlighter looked a little bit dark. It looked more like a bronzy kind of highlighter. So I thought, they say you can use it on the face or on the eyes. So I thought, let's go ahead and try putting this on my eyes and see if that does anything. So I'm zoomed in. Here are the glow letters. I'm going to take a pretty fluffy brush since I'm going to do kind of just like a one color all over eye look. And I'm going to just like swirl this in here to get a little bit of everything. Now I lost an X. Oops. Can you see? Swirl this in here. Where's it? I need a mirror. Now let's put this on, throw this on the eye and see what happens. Okay, so there's a little bit of color payoff. I'm just gonna put this all over my eye. Really focusing it on the crease, but. Okay, so on my eye, I have this side. My right eye has the glow letters and this side doesn't, so. Are you seeing a lot of difference? Because I'm not. Oh my goodness, there's nothing happening. Let me just try to pick up. So here's one of the hearts. This is the darkest shade that's in here. The heart is like a brown. Okay, I'm gonna try just putting this on my eye. Oh, okay. There we go. See that? There's some color payoff. Oh, that's a mess though. What did I do? What have I done? The worst eyeshadow look I've ever done in my life. Thankfully it blends out really easily. This is not too bad. But it's still leaving a little more of that color payoff. Okay. Okay, so that gave a little more definition to the crease. It's not terrible. It's better. So now I'm gonna take one of I think the X's and the O's are both the champagne shade, so I'm just gonna take an O because it's a little bit easier, I think, to work on the eye. And I'm gonna just try to put this on the inner portion of the eye and on the lid. Oops, it's breaking. It just broke to bits. That's great. These are fairly soft, but they're not so powdery that it's like, if you just leave them in the container, I'm not getting a lot of pigment off of them. Okay, that's not terrible. I'm gonna take a heart, fix the crease a little bit. Okay, that's not, I was gonna say that's not terrible, but really it is. Let me see if I can salvage this look. I'm gonna put on some mascara and probably a little bit of eyeliner just to give my eyes something. So I'm gonna do that and I will be back. I think my eyes look a lot better now that I have eyeliner and mascara on. But honestly, I don't see anything that happened with... Well, I just dumped them all on the floor and on my lap and on my table. One, ease of use, not there. The ease of use is not that great. I don't notice a lot of like color payoff in like there being, you know, this rich brown color, or there really being like a lighter champagne color. I don't see it. And it's only when I took the actual like little piece and like rubbed it on my eye that I was able to get that color payoff. So one, ease of use, no, not there. Two, color payoff, not there. And three, the packaging is just so cheap looking. So even for $18, I would say these are a hard pass. Well, the palettes, I was like, probably not, kind of on the fence. This is a hard pass. No, not worth it. Not worth it at all. Did I get something that looked somewhat decent on my eyes? Yeah, but I'm never doing that again. I'm never doing that again. Like when I have 1,000,001 eyeshadow palettes that work better than that to do something very natural looking. Nope, 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 nope. So the last things that we have in this collection are a set of lipsticks. So there's one red and one nude that each Malika and Khloé created. This is the Ultimate Love lipstick and it retails for $24 each. Again, there's one nude shade and one red shade for each, one for each Khloé and Malika. So we have one nude, and we have one red. So I'm gonna just swatch all of this really quickly and we'll be right back. For both Khloé and Malika, we had a red shade. Malika's shade was called Brave, which is a true cool tone red, as opposed to Khloé's shade, which is Hot Tamale, which is a warm red, a spicy red with warm undertones. I picked up a lot of orange when I tried this on, and first of all, I'm not a fan of Hot Tamale, but that's just also my own personal preference. I don't like warm tone reds. I don't think they look super great on my skin tone, so I'm not a fan of this. Malika, usually I do enjoy a real nice, true, cool tone red. I just am not a fan of either red really in this formula. This is a cream lipstick. It's a very rich, moisturizing formula. It feels actually quite nice on the lips, but because of that, I noticed, especially with this really, really deep red color, I felt like I needed a lip liner to go with this lipstick. I noticed a little bit of feathering and a little bit of bleeding. I wasn't able to get like a nice crisp line on my lips. A lip liner wasn't included in this collection. I don't think Becca makes a lip liner, so that's just an extra step of something that I'm gonna have to pick up to get either of these lipsticks to really work for me. Also, just because they are so creamy, I don't think they're gonna be long lasting at all. They smeared pretty easily and they tended to stain my lips, so it was a little bit hard to remove the lipstick. So I think not gonna last long and staining, it's just kind of a no-go. And needed a lip liner. Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of either of these shades. Moving on to the nude lipsticks. Again, one for Malika and one for Khloé. The Malika shade, it was called Yours Truly, and this is a delicate pinky neutral. And then there's the Khloé shade, which is called Cupid's Kiss, which is a toasted neutral, a rich toasted neutral. So I'm wearing Khloé's shade on my lips right now. This was the last one I swatched. In general, I liked both of these a lot better than the red shades, just because the neutral is there's a lot more forgiveness when it comes to working with a neutral as opposed to working with the really bright, rich red. Out of the two, my favorite is definitely Khloé's, the Cupid's Kiss. I like this color. It's a little bit more cool tone. It's a little bit closer to my lip color that I like. Again, both of these I don't think they're going to be particularly long wearing just because of the formula, but they are very comfortable to wear. They're comfortable on the lips, so I don't necessarily have a big problem with them. If you're gonna pick up anything from the collection, pick up a lipstick. Don't spend a ton of money on this. I think this is a very passable collection. Obviously there's been a lot of hype, a lot of social media coverage on it, just, you know, based on who Khloé and Malika are. But I think it's a little bit overhyped for what you're getting and for the price tags associated with everything in this collection. So that's my 2 cents worth. Do with it as you wish. I'm really interested. Has anyone picked up anything from this collection, or do you plan to pick up anything from this collection? Let me know down in the comments. I'd like to hear your thoughts about it as well. And yeah, that's everything I've got. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to give me a thumbs up. It lets me know you liked this so I can keep doing videos like this in the future. And if you have not yet subscribed, now's your chance. Hit the subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you'll be notified every single time that I upload a new video. Thank you so very much for spending part of your day with me today. I appreciate and I love you all so very, very much. I hope you have a wonderful day wherever you are. Bye.